Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, Manny. I'm coming to you live from the Manny Day Media headquarters here in Worcester, Mass. And it is another all-new episode of Interviews with my man, ced-boogie. Arno.
Yes.
How are you, my man? Welcome.
I'm all right. Thank you guys for
Good to have
having me, man. It's an absolute honor to be a part of what you got going on.
No, man,
mean, you're
thank
doing
you.
the thing, so you know.
I don't know how much you know, but you've been, what is the word? Like a role model for me growing up. Not to put you out there like that, because bro, you look great. You look my age, but you're not.
All right, keep rolling the dice. It's gonna be a show that's real or what?
But I'm just saying you look good. But with that being said, I've looked up to you. You've worked with a lot of people that, you know, in my immediate circle, or shall we call the village, from my mom, Wanda, to other people like Parley Jones, and just so many in the community, as a pillar of the community, as I said in the introduction, in the description that I had yesterday for the post that I put up of you. Always sharing education, information, and making awareness to resources accessible. All that with a smile on your face and a little bit of funny in your soul. So yeah, that's who you are, and I'm so happy to have you here. And you got a lot going on. It's Black History Month. I mean, it's tomorrow, but we're gonna start it today because
right.
You know,
we might as well start it. I had a different shirt on before. I had on my other shirt. The system don't work.
But you know, we here nonetheless, and you know, I'd like to start off by just talking a little bit about what you got going on right now. You know, coming up February 13th. Thank you. I was gonna say the 14th, but I knew it was wrong. So February 13th at noon. At the Major Taylor Museum. We have the Frederick Douglass readings coming up, which I am going to be there, but we are imploring everyone who can make it to come in person because it's a very important event. Tell me a little bit about why you do this every year.
Well, I want to give a shout out first to Elephant in the Room, Black-owned apparel, so give them a shout out. The idea of the Frederick Douglass reading wasn't even my idea. Big up to Erin Williams. She is now on the board of Mass Humanities, but at the time she was the cultural person for the city of Worcester. So when this started actually with the first, when we did the reactivation of the NAACP, the first president started it. When he resigned, she asked me to continue it. So it was basically something that the city wanted to do out of the Cultural Commission, the Cultural Coalition. And she's a sweet soul. She's actually really a good person to have in your corner in dealing with city. And that was one of the things that she could have championed for you. And she asked me to do it, and then she asked me to do it again. So it's 13 years, 10, we did over 10 summers, you know what I mean? We held 10 summers down with the reading. And then now we actually asked the Worcester branch of the NAACP to do it in the summer months, the July. And then we started it in February just because there were so limited things that people were doing for Black History Month. You know what I mean? It killed me when you have to go before the city council in Worcester to have a resolution presented so they can do Black History Month activities in the schools.
And honoring our own. And Major Taylor is
Major Taylor is the first Black super athlete. He's LeBron James before
from Worcester. Well, not just from Worcester, but his period.
But his whole everything was Worcester. Bigging up Worcester, traveling around the world, bigging up Worcester, bringing these I forget what they call them, but they're bike riding competitions to the city, riding up these hills, the 7 hills of Worcester. You see them now. The Major Taylor riders, I forget the name of them, but they do these. They just had a meeting over at the Major Taylor Museum, and these Major Taylor riders, they ride around Worcester, the county, and all types of things. And the idea is to promote the museum, get people in the museum, let you kind of know the history of this black man who was the first super athlete who fought not just segregation and racism, but competitions.
Yeah.
He was a competitor, and in these competitions, these are bikes, pedal bikes. People would try to knock him off the road, try to get him to get off the path of travel, and he was notorious for winning.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And that's super dope. And we want to salute the museum for allowing us to have these opportunities there and to bring people into the museum. And oh, before I forget, I want to big up Simply Delight. They're going to be one of our vendors there.
have you eaten? I mean, you have. Listen.
Simply Delight baked goods.
Listen.
So I'm taking somebody has had some.
Listen. My back got plenty of rolls because of Simply Delight. Let me tell you. So go look them up on Facebook, Instagram, follow them, and they're all over the place. Yeah. Specifically in the summer months, you'll see them out popping up everywhere. But they sell out quick.
Yeah, I think they're at like the QCC sometimes. Yep. Quinn-Sigmund Community College. Yep. For those that don't know, on West Boylston Street, they host black folks cooking. Basically,
yeah. And usually they're at like the Martin Luther King breakfast, and
they try to make all of the events.
The what is it called? The alumni breakfast there at QCC. So you can find them anyway. Yeah. Go follow them. They'll tell you where they're gonna be. They
might even get an email.
Yeah, they have the most amazing cookies, the amazing little personal cheesecakes,
and the pound cakes and all types of things. But it's an opportunity to eat some really good stuff that'll make your belly smile.
That's right. And if your back's too thin, those ribs are poking out your back. Simply Delight got that. They can use it as a slogan.
Oh shoot! Look at Betty giving away stuff.
Listen, I love my community. I love my people. I'm here to see y'all succeed. So anything I can do to help.
Yeah.
But bringing it back to Major Taylor, you know, I lived in Worcester my whole life. When they changed, I forget what the name of it used to be before Major Taylor Boulevard. But when they changed it to Major Taylor Boulevard, to be honest with you, I had no idea who Major Taylor was. And then once I finally found out who Major Taylor was, you know, that's when I started like really taking a deeper dive into the history and the rich culture that is Worcester. That has been built by a lot of not only immigrants but people of color.
Right.
And you know, there's a lot of folks that represent our Black history culturally that we don't acknowledge. We don't celebrate. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's not
why
why
are more streets not named after people of color when so many people of color have contributed to the city?
Because the people of color do not control anything in the city. You could even look at it during like the way the monuments are set up.
Yeah.
You have a monument of Bob Cousy, bronze statue.
I mean, that's a fire statue. I just want to say it's a nice statue. But
look at the commemorative African American veterans memorial that they set up for Black folks. It's a difference. You had one done by professionals and one done by, not to knock the high school, but the students at Volk, the new Volk High School.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, but they put it together, and that's the comparison of what you feel is what you invest in is what you honor. Yeah. What you put money in is what you honor. You put money in a Bob Cousy statue, but you didn't put money into an African American veterans memorial.
Speaking of statues, what do you think about what they're doing with the Major Taylor statue? There's a thought of possibly moving the statue or even moving the museum. I mean, I don't know. That
right. Where would you move it to?
Did they think about moving it, John, to the museum? Shout out to Councilor Bergman, huh?
I don't know if that would be good because the space, it's a space that he's trying to hide history from people because the idea of the Major Taylor statue in front of a library would give the idea of who is that.
Right.
And then you look into the you look and see who this person is.
Yeah.
If you're in the area of where you're suggesting they're putting it, or what he has said he would like to place it, is not a high foot traffic area at all. You know what I mean? You get the kids from the school walk by, but they pay attention to nothing in the street.
Yeah.
If you don't put something in there, iPhone, iPad, linkage, TikTok, they're not looking for what's out here in the street. And if you just put the statue there, what you're going to do is just get probably another area where people can't park because they're going to have to section the area off where the off-street parking probably can't even exist over there anymore.
Yeah, thank you, John. I love you, and I appreciate you bringing that up because I was going to say, I have always had a problem with the Christopher Columbus statue in front of
the Union Station. Yeah.
And the reason is because of the atrocities
that Christopher Columbus did.
This disgusting person that he was during his lifetime.
Yeah.
He didn't discover a damn thing. There were already people here. What he did was come and murder and rape and pillage and then left. And we're supposed to celebrate this Italian heritage, which I put it in quotes for a reason because it was the Spanish who financed his
expedition.
Expedition. Thank you. Here.
Yeah. And he was a conveyor of syphilis. His whole crew came with so many diseases in them that they brought to the islands that killed so many people.
The indigenous people that were already here.
That's what I'm saying. They came to this place, the Hispaniola. So that's Cuba. They went to Santo Domingo. They went to Haiti. They came here on the shores and then left all of their filth with the people and, like you said, left.
Yeah.
And I mean, the legacy of diseases is them.
Yeah, and I say it all the time. Like, how different is he from Hitler? I mean, honestly, yes, they did. Their actions were different, but they were also the same.
They were intentional,
and harmful.
Yes.
And hateful, and genocidal.
Yeah. And that's their legacy.
Why could we celebrate one here in America but not the other? Which, I mean, it seems like we're getting on that road of celebrating the other one. What do you think about Elon Musk? Was that actually Heil Hitler, or was that just an awkward gesture?
No, that was a direct signal to those that follow that 420 birthday guy, and this was what it was for them. I'm with you, and you have to remember, he's a South African.
Yeah.
So his despisement of black folks is linear.
Yeah.
So what he is founder of PayPal, brilliant mind, blah, 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 but a dangerous man because of his ideological representation.
And also a man of privilege. He came from extreme privilege and wealth.
And that's that South African piece.
And that was a lot of stolen privilege involved too. Because I'll be honest with you.
I would love for you to come. Maybe I'll see if we could put this together and have the conversation that I had with a person from South Africa about Elon Musk and the things that are still going on in South Africa, and then relate it to what's going on here in the parallels of these two countries and how similar to apartheid we both are.
Right.
No matter how far people say you've come in America, you still are that far or that close to an apartheid system.
Right.
That'll be dope.
And thank you. And I'd love to do that. And an apartheid system, again, that many, can we say colonists benefited from?
Oh, yes.
And believed that they were of superiority to the people that came before them, to the indigenous people of that land.
Yep.
And, have this sense of entitlement. And then people like Elon, who get to actually leave that space, want to bring that sense of entitlement and white superiority, really, to the rest of the world. And I feel like that's what we're seeing right now, not only on a national level, but I'll be honest with you, John made a good point, which is why it took us a little long to get on the air today. Locally, the one good thing I can say about the guy in office right now is it helped embolden people to really show their true colors. What do you think about that?
Well, people have always shown you their true colors. A lot of times,
it was just harder to see. Our rose-colored glasses didn't allow us to see it
because you put the smoke in the mirrors up. Yeah. And one of the things about the guy up in that seat, I'm from Brooklyn. We've been around this guy since forever. We know he is the ultimate and show you one thing, do the other thing. He's been doing that for since his start.
He gave so many people of color a place to live. You should be grateful.
Didn't you know that? You should be grateful to Donald, the man in that seat, for giving you a place to live. And that is the what do they call it? It's not ironic. It's the I can't think of the word. I can't think of the word, but the idea is that is the juxtaposition of irony, and there's another word for it when you turn it around and you still see the same thing. That is him. He could turn around 3 times and you click his heels and you think he's gone, and he is not going anywhere. Yeah. And that's the epitome of him. And that was what may have been to appeal to so many others that voted for him, and places where we never would have thought he would have gotten those votes. Yeah. And you think that people were voting against their interests, but they weren't. They weren't interested in what you were interested in. And that was what people didn't see. That there were so many people that wasn't caring about none of those things. They were just caring about what I think I can do. My imagination is saying I would get more out of the deal than you're giving me out the deal now. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it seems like the only benefit for me, let's say I was going to vote for him, the only benefit I can really see is my pockets being affected, right? So I'm going to get more money out of the deal eventually because of lower taxes or what have you. Right. It's going to make me and my business flourish and succeed more. I think that was one of the ideas that a lot of people have, that the government is constantly taking from you through taxes to give to other people.
And that's who, the other part.
In my entitled mind, are less deserving. Right. You know, especially if they're lazy and don't work, or they're black or brown or what have you.
And they just collecting a check.
Right. And it's just, I can't see any other reason to have someone like that in office. And the thing that really blows my mind is there were black and brown people, a lot of brown people, 60%, 61% around. I don't know, John, if you got the exact numbers, but more than enough who, in my opinion, by voting for him, showed that they were in a position of superiority to others. Here's my point. Puerto Ricans, for example. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans who voted for
the guy in that chair.
Cubans. Now, Puerto Ricans, America successfully colonized Puerto Rico, right?
That's a way to put it.
So we're legal.
Yes, yeah, territory.
Puerto Ricans are legal citizens of the United States. Yes. I think that has put into a lot of Puerto Ricans' minds that they're a better brown than
the Mexicans,
quote unquote illegals. Same thing with Cubans. You know, Cubans, a lot of Cubans are illegal, but they also have a way easier time getting through the immigration process. I never
had that conversation with a Puerto Rican cat.
I mean, we got to have these conversations.
Yeah, but I never had that conversation. That's deep. That's so, in my world, I've seen Puerto Ricans that had problems with black folks just because they were black and they were the same color as me.
Right. But they're not black, and that puts in people's mind, and it really is colorism and racism. Right. That you're somewhere on the totem pole better than the next. Right. And the fact that we, as people who were either colonized or had to go through immigration, because I'm Cuban as well, my mom's Cuban, which Cubans, by the way, they just have to be here working for a year and have good behavior, and then they get automatic citizenship. Okay. Already? Yeah. We're getting deep. We got to go for a second. John's telling me we got to go, but let me just finish up this thought. Yeah. In that, why would we vote for someone that is going to make it harder for other people to become citizens? If we came from where we came from, we should have more empathy and an easier way to see why other people would want to come here as well. Hold your thought. We'll ask on the other side of the commercial break. But we got to thank our amazing sponsors. We love you. Go ahead, John. Take it away. welcome back to Manny Media Interviews with my man, the one and only Cedric Boogie Arno.
Yes.
Started on your name.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you did not say it. I said Boogie, Cedric, Seeds, said Boogie. You know what I mean? We got all types of names and numbers, monikers. You know, Hove, Jay, Sean Carter. You know what I mean? You can be all of those.
I don't know if this is the right time to bring
Oh man, y'all still getting on? Yo, man.
Because I would like to get that. I would like to get into that in a second if we can, because it is a whole other show. But if you think about it, there is such a discrepancy on how certain demographics are treated in certain areas.
Well, certain demographics and not just demographics of race or culture, it's also economic.
Absolutely.
It's an economic demographic.
But before we went to the break, we were talking about how Latinos, how I've noticed a lot of Latinos have voted for this man that is in office right now, with the predisposition, knowing that, immigration was a big platform that he was on.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about not only immigration, but what seems to be a fracture and a divide amongst the Black and brown communities?
Most of the time, it's not it may be an economic thing, because poor Puerto Ricans in the Bronx and poor Blacks in the Bronx are probably still doing the same thing, being poor in who they are.
Yeah.
Once you get some money, then you think you're maybe something else than who you are because of the dollar sign. Who the
rest of us are.
Definitely who the rest of us are.
Right.
Because now somebody told me something about them going back to their old neighborhood and was like, yo, things have changed. Mm-hmm. And the response was, no, things haven't changed. You have changed. You now don't like getting your bagel from the bodega. Now you get a croissant from the bakery.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
But that's the status of a croissant versus the status
I don't mind Pillsbury make my
own. You know what I mean? Egg and cheese.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, instead of getting it from Aki, you get it from Starbucks.
Stuff like that. I was about to say a little bit, but stuff like that. That's the idea of that. Because yeah. You know what I mean? He's already letting us know it's about to be different. He said, believe him. I don't know you. Call us back in 2 years. See if you got the same number.
Yeah. Your call has been forwarded.
Right. You've been like, not been forwarded. You've been disconnected. It's like,
we on a whole nother timeline.
Oh, man. He's like, where is he at? He's in a spaceship going to Mars.
I mean, that's not too far off.
I see the NASA part.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, yeah, we got down with the net. That's right. We represent.
That's it. Believe them when they say it.
So when we just came back from break, you actually had another thought, mainly talking about economic status, and it may not. I mean, I think racism is always included.
Always
somebody told me, I'm a liar. I heard somewhere. Nobody told me nothing. I saw this probably on TikTok. That's where I get all my news. You guys know that. Where essentially, a lot of classism and elitism in America anyway came from slavery, days of slavery, when the rich white folk realized they were outnumbered.
Yeah.
And they needed to kind of break up all these
3/5 a person vote
people to make their majority higher. And that's, before there was white people indentured.
Yes, they call them indentured servants.
Indentured servants. And there was a time where they basically done away with indentured servants and made white people as a whole, although women weren't really too included in that, white men, to raise those numbers of the majority, and then divided everybody else really amongst class structure, economic structure, which broke it up even further and made those numbers more of a majority. What do you think about that in today's day? Because I feel like, and I've heard a lot of people say slavery still kind of exists, just in a different kind of manner, or maybe not one that you can.
It's been,
Johnny playing
well,
with
the idea.
Apple, let's go.
Yeah,
let's go.
The idea. I'm researching for the Frederick Douglass reading. All right, I usually do my little spiel in between, whoever starts the reading. I'm researching now that era of what you're talking about, and it basically happened when Abraham Lincoln got shot. The next vice president up was Andrew Johnson. Andrew, that guy made it a point that is what this guy is doing now. If you come to me, white man, and say, I apologize for being bad to black folks, I'll give you back all of the land that we took from you, because Abraham Lincoln, when the war was over, confiscated all the land from the Confederates. And basically, for being insurrectionists and seditionists trying to succeed from the Union, you got all your land confiscated. And that land went back to the enslaved people that was tending that land. When Lincoln got shot, only thing you had to do was get in your horse and carriage and go to the White House and tell the president that you were sorry and that you could come back to South Carolina and Virginia and all these other places where the land was taken, and basically giving back your land is what's basically going on now.
Yeah.
But they're calling it DEI. Back then it was called it was the executive order, the field order for 40 acres and a mule. Yeah, right. That's the backdrop. So what happened when Andrew gave them back the land? There was a rush because he did it when Congress was out of session. Okay. So there was a rush to get back to session so we could block all of these things. Right. Out of that rush, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments came out of that rush. All right. Thaddeus Stevens was the guy in charge of the Congress that rushed these amendments through so we could save black folks in America. So the black folks saved, you got the people that are now living off the 14th Amendment, that you can stay in this country if you were born in this country.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, because Donald Trump said, the 14th Amendment was for the children of slaves.
Yes.
To be able to have automatic citizenship. Yep. So it doesn't apply to today's immigrants. Did you hear him say that?
But he is going back that far to get black folks out this country.
That's crazy.
And that is what you have to learn. That's what you have to not wait for him to tell you. It's what you have to read and understand and play chess with him, because he's already 2, 4, 10 steps ahead of you. He sees the board and where he wants to go. Now you as a defender have to see the board to either play to block him or offensive take his queen. Now, if you know how to play chess, some of y'all are offensive or defensive players. You do what you have to do to get to the queen. And the queen is in that seat right now, metaphorically speaking. And you have to figure out a way to plot to get it. If you're not going to plot to get it, get off the board. Get out the way. Right. You know what I mean? Because you're blocking other people that have vision. Yeah. If you're blocking my vision, you're distracting what the purpose is to get the queen. Right. You know what I mean? And that's some people are understanding. Some people ain't going to get it. Some people are, they're just distractors. They just don't know nothing what to do but to get in front of you and talk about things that don't have nothing to do with getting to the queen.
And some people are just complicit.
And they are part of it. There's a lot of Bill O'Neills out there. For those that don't know Bill O'Neill, William O'Neill was the guy that gave the information, the blueprint, when Fred Hampton was murdered. Chairman Fred Hampton was chairman in the Black Panther Party of Chicago. So this is the 68 era of existence that isn't too far away from where we are at now. And those same conspirators, Bill O'Neill was the chief one for that. And that is how I reference cats that I call them the Bill O'Neills, the William O'Neills, because they are part of the conspiracy that are those guys that will be complicit in getting at you and sometimes getting you into a position where you're now complicit into something that comes out and now you are accessory to something and now that's how they leverage you to now you working for the government. It happens just like that. Just read a book.
Yeah. So and that's the thing with the Frederick Douglass readings and bringing up Frederick Douglass. So I've been to pretty much every one of them. I do live stream them for our folks at home who can't. They may have mobility issues or they may be working at that time. So it's very important for us to live stream it. But it's also more important that we're together, that we come together in person. And that's what I love about the readings is there's so many powerful people in the community. And I'm not just talking about the mayor and all them people who they are there, but I'm talking about us.
People.
I'm talking about just regular everyday people who come out every day and strive to make their community better one day at a time.
Yep.
One of the things that I always take away from that is education.
Yeah.
We need to educate ourselves.
Yeah.
That's how Frederick Douglass became who he was.
Right.
He educated himself. I mean, I'm sure with the help.
What he did was he got help. The white woman, he,
did the same way.
Took over his care, whatever, taught him how to read because she had him doing stuff and she can't have him around her and he don't know how to read. Right. So what he did was he learned how to also, when her husband got mad at her for teaching him how to read, he knew how to do things. Mm-hmm. So he would barter with the white boys, the poor white kids, and they would show him how to read and he would give them food.
Oh, wow.
Or he would give them something and they would help him read, learn how this sentence or whatever. And that is how he learned how to read, teaching himself, but also engaging others to help him learn how to read. And one of the best things about that was that he learned how to navigate the shipyards because he was one of those people that had a job, so he could work. But in his work, he learned how to be a strong man and how to do this or how to do that. And then doing that, he helped others. And then his in turn favor was show me how to read.
Yeah. So do you believe that education or even self-education is the true gateway to freedom?
Yeah. I wrote a report. This is 89, 90, something around there in school. I got a B+, but the idea of the report was...
That shows you tried.
Yeah. No, I was strong. B+ is strong. I was really good with that. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Because I learned. Some people get an A and don't know you know what I mean?
Well, I mean...
You got an A because you knew how to take the test.
They sure don't have common sense.
They definitely don't know.
Speaking of common sense, did you hear, bringing it back to the guy in the big office, did you hear him say that he knows DEI is what brought down that plane and helicopter because he has common sense?
I can't help that guy with his thought pattern, man.
It's fine anyway. We going back.
Yeah.
He didn't say that on purpose?
Yeah, he did.
He did that on purpose.
He did that on purpose.
Don't think that he's stupid. Mm-hmm. He's doing everything intentional.
Yeah. And then to say that from my understanding of law, right, when you do stuff like that, you're admitting to a fault. And that is something that these people, once they get out of the grieving process and mourning process, they're going to look for blame.
Yeah.
And what he is saying now is pointing to two-step of racist. This is who you need to target. This is who you need to be after. Yeah. You Wichita, Kansas families, a.k.a. super white, come and point your fingers at this DEI. Follow my finger to these DEIs. And what is the DEI description? Black. Follow yourself to the black people. Follow yourself to there.
Yeah, but doesn't DEI, just for those who don't know, diversity,
Equity.
and inclusion,
Yeah.
doesn't that include everyone, regardless of color, regardless of race,
But the idea of Donald
nationality?
Trump and the agenda of him is to target black. That's Donald Trump's thing. He has a thing with black.
But there's a lot of white people who
white
have
people fall under that.
disabilities, for example.
Yeah, but you fall under that. But the target is black. Okay. And the idea of it is rooted in, as you say, the 14th Amendment, if you go back to it, was to establish that you cannot kick out these black folks.
So I'm willing to
but everybody else fell under that, and that is the effect of people with disabilities, white women, the suffrage movement, all of that stuff falls
They're
under
willing to
that.
deconstruct that just to attack black people?
Yes, they are.
I'm sorry, I know this. These are all
basically these are things that are really happening. Yeah. They're not imaginary happenings. The idea is that the catchment of people is under this attack. The same way that everybody of minority got under the umbrella of minority was because of black people's achievements. The you can't kick us out. We're now more than you were slaves in this country. What are you going to do with 2 million black folks? You got us over here. You can't send us back to Africa. And then we're not going. And then what are you going to do? So you do these things and you try to put these things in play, the Jim Crow pieces. But what we did was we had Reconstruction errors. First Reconstruction, second Reconstruction. And then I'll touch on it when people come out February 13th to the Major Taylor Museum for the Frederick Douglass reading, where we're having 2 programs for that. It's going to be one program where we're having it from 12 to 2 in the afternoon for the traditional Frederick Douglass, reading. Everybody comes and participates in the reading. This year, we're bringing the United States Postal Service there. They're doing a dedication of stamps to community members. We're doing Yvonne Brown, President Emeritus for the Worcester NAACP.
No,
Ben Swan.
Don't rush. It's fine. That was just for me.
Okay.
We got plenty of time.
Benjamin Swan, 10th Hamden District. He's a former state legislator. He'll be here. His family connection is his first wife is from Worcester. So we're looking to see all of those heads come out. People that know the Swan family. The Swan family out of Springfield, they're coming out heavy, I heard. And we're doing Gladys Rodriguez Parker. She's a community leader. She's Boricua. She's been out here for...
she's still out here.
She's still out here. And she's one of those historians that you can talk to if you get a chance about relationships of the Black Panthers and the Young Lords and how Black and Spanish people got together. Right. She's a product of that. You know what I mean? And if you get a chance to talk to her, you could build with her on that.
She's been a great conduit or connector from the community to Congressman Jim McGovern.
Well, she's been his aide for over a decade.
She's made great impact.
She's impact on him, impact on Worcester State University, the Latino Education Institute. LEI, Maria and her crew over there. So she's, as a board member, different areas as far as we're talking about Gladys, she's been instrumental in leading.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? There's Black people she's led, there's Spanish people that she's led, there's coalitions that she could come into a room and, she knows what she knows, and that's how you become a person that she is, in the longevity of being in the community with authenticity is, that. So we're having that. We're having a representative from the United States Attorney General's office come in. I suggested a topic of a conversation that I would suggest that, they came with. We'll see how that goes. And then, we do the reading and all of that. And
where can people get tickets?
Eventbrite. It's on Eventbrite. Frederick Douglass Reading Frederick Douglass together. Go on Facebook. It's a soiree for the evening. It's a evening program, 5:30 to 7:30. Both programs are going to have operatic singers. So the first program is going to have Monica Anderson Spencer. She's going to perform. And in the evening, it'll be Christian Carney. He's going to be performing I think it's two songs. Yeah, I think he's
Christian
two,
Carney,
three.
by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still at
Mechanics Hall, yeah.
My boy, he got some vocal chops on
Well,
him.
that's he said something. I suggested something, and 5 months later, we're going to do something,
That's
which
amazing.
is on February 13th, and it's in the evening, and it's a opportunity to hear. You know, I think the black person in the operatic performances is not pronounced.
Yeah, you don't see it ever.
And so I want to make sure that gets exemplified, highlighted. And then the other part is that we're having PAMUSA, the Pan African Historical Museum of USA out of Springfield. They are going to be performing Frederick Douglass's speech.
Wow.
That's what I said.
That's
I
amazing.
said, wow.
Yeah.
We're going to see, you're going to,
see it with creative visuals through.
Right, the same way you do it through words.
All right.
Now you're going to, it is like, yeah.
It's exciting.
But the idea is that we're bringing that free. Oh, all events are free.
Yeah, so the reason for the tickets is because...
Oh, it's a mass humanities funded event.
Right.
Reading Frederick Douglass, #25. RFDT 25 is the mass humanities movement for this year.
And
Make sure
just
I
so
get that
everybody
out
knows,
there.
after the show, I'm going to go and just update the description on this live, and we will put the link for the Eventbrite right up there. Space is limited, so you want to make sure that you get your tickets fast. February 13th will be here before you know it. It's only 2 weeks away from today.
Yesterday.
It's Thursday, right?
Yesterday,
Yeah. So make sure you get your tickets. It's going to be a great night out, and it is a family type event. Right?
All events are family orientated. The idea is that we want the community to come in, whether you're a lawyer, a student, individual that may be just hearing this for the first time, and you never even knew where the museum was. It's the Major Taylor Museum at 2 Main Street. It's the old courthouse, if you're familiar with the Worcester area. I know this opportunity stretches to people all over the world. So those that are closer, if you get a chance, you can come and to Main Street. We're streaming it as well, www.musicmaniatelevision.com.
Yeah, actually, we are almost running out of time, but I really wanted to bring up this one last point. Well, two last points. Before we get to Music Mania, if you are interested in more Black Black History Month celebrations in Worcester, please visit the Village Worcester at www.tinyurl.com/BCCWORC 2025. And that's where you will get a program calendar of Black History Month celebrations that I know you can absolutely rely on, in addition to the Frederick Douglass readings on February 13th.
February 13th.
So Music Mania TV is a platform that I've been watching for a while, where you can actually catch said weekly.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to do it. It's bananas because some of the stuff that we're doing sometimes 2 times a week. Like we're getting into the point where we're going to be doing some things and we're going to invite people to come out.
Like me.
Yeah. Especially in the afternoon, people, we're looking to put together a coffee house type thing.
Nice.
Where we're going to have a featured author come in and talk about their book in our coffee house. Mm-hmm. So we're putting that together, and that's going to be we're looking for a coffee sponsor right now to get that off the ground. But the idea,
Bellens, maybe?
Who?
Bellens Bakery on Main Street. Is it Bellens Bakery? No. John Bellens. Yeah. Casa de Pan.
Okay,
on Main Street. I'm just saying, they got some bomb coffee, and they're actually the coffee for Clark University.
Okay, so I'll check, because one of the things we're looking to do is to have an engaging conversations around coffee and around.
Yeah, shout out to Zaida. We love her.
Big up to Zaida. I might be meeting you in the near future.
I'll definitely make sure to connect you guys today. You know, minority-owned business here in the city of Worcester.
And that's one of the things we're looking to do with, and like we are doing some more things with, you'll get more information on the Thursday of the reading about what we are doing as a collective. It's a group of us coming together, and we're going to make our debut on that Thursday evening, where we're going to talk about where we are going as a collective of various organizations coming together under this umbrella, and we're going to announce that Thursday.
So that'd be a great place if you're interested in getting involved
Yes.
in this collection of organizations or just community members.
Just come in
and bring our community back, because right now we fractured and divided. We all need to come together and really work on how our future is going to look.
And that's
Next
one of the
Thursday
things. It's Thursday the 13th of February. One of the things that two Thursdays. But one of the things that I wanted to do is to bring everybody, all of these people that I talked about, from the Attorney General, the City Manager, the Postal Service, these are all federal level entities. And I want you to connect with the people on the ground floor with these people in these seats.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how you connect to this guy could connect you to something that can big up.
Yeah.
I call it the alley-oop. I call it the alley-oop. You know what I mean? Only thing I do is throw it up. And then you catch it, and hopefully you throw it up. And then hopefully somebody come behind you and catch it and throw it up. You don't even have to go for the dunk. You just keep throwing it up, and we just keep kicking the ball in the air.
And eventually it'll get in, and we will win. My guy, ced-boogie. Make sure you guys follow him. Let everybody know.
Music Mania Television Studios is the website. If you do the Instagram thing, is music_mania_TV. We are doing the things that we don't think we can do. We're projecting ourselves to do more, because your dreams have to be beyond a thought that you can do it. It can't be anything that you can do. It got to be something that is so far from what you may have capabilities of doing. I look back on my paperwork that I did in 2001, and it has stuff itemized that's so much value and everything, and I got all of that now. You know what I mean? It was. If I tell you the numbers, you'd be mad. It was a 6-digit number then, and now this year I have all of those on that list. And you know what I mean? Not that y'all coming in my place to rob it, but we have capabilities that match that $200,000 error.
Right.
And this is what you do when you're keeping the ball in the air. You want to do is throw it up. I ain't dunk it yet.
And it's a team effort. We can't do it by ourselves.
What?
So with that being said, Cedric, I appreciate you coming out so much, my brother.
No doubt.
I hope we can do this again sometime.
Yeah. Maybe we'll invite you, come over, and you can come to the coffee clubhouse.
I'm there.
And what's the people's name? Ponce? How do you say it? The coffee people.
Oh, Belen?
Cafe de Pan. Maybe we could get to them, and we could have coffee and have somebody talk about one of their articles, their new book they put out, a workbook that they developed. We're going to have people in there. We're big up to Elizabeth over there with the Clemente course. Big up to Dax and all of the people that we dealt with Clemente people that are authors.
I'm going to be working on, and I need your support as well. We are starting to work on, I just need to talk to some people to get this ball actually rolling. But Great Brook Valley Park used to be Roberto Clemente Field. Do you remember that?
Yeah, back there.
We got to get these names back, instead of just keeping them, because it's important. It's important to recognize.
That's the conversation I can't have on TV.
All right. We'll have it off here. And we got to get off here anyway. John said, let's go.
It's like you see his finger in there.
It's your boy, man. It's been another fantastic episode of Interviews with ced-boogie Arno here on Manny J Media Community Delivered. We'll see you real soon. Peace.
All right, have a good night.
Silence.